What if I told you your ballpoint pen is basically a tiny sealed ink machine, and the only thing stopping it from leaking is a little metal ball about the size of a pinhead? Because, seriously, there's ink inside. You toss it in a bag, leave it in a hot car, shove it in a pocket, and most of the time, it still doesn't drip everywhere. Welcome to the smart side. If you like learning how everyday things really work, you're in the right place. So today, let's break down how ballpoint pens write, and why they usually don't leak. First, the star of the whole design. That tiny ball at the tip. A ballpoint pen has a small metal ball sitting in a little socket. The fit is super precise, tight enough to seal, but loose enough to roll smoothly. And that rolling is the trick. When you write, the ball spins. One side touches the ink inside the pen and picks up a thin film of ink. Then the ball rolls and transfers that ink onto the paper. So the ball is doing two jobs at the same time. It's applying ink, and it's acting like a valve. When you're not writing, the ball just sits there and blocks the opening, like a tiny plug. That alone prevents a lot of leaking. But it's not the only thing keeping things clean. The second secret is the ink. Ballpoint ink isn't watery like fountain pen ink. It's thick, closer to a paste. And that thickness matters, because thick ink doesn't flow easily on its own. Gravity can't just pull it out like water. It mostly stays put until the ball rolls it out. That's also why ballpoint pens need a little pressure to write. You're basically helping the ball grab ink and lay it down. Now here's the part people almost never think about. Air pressure. If a pen were just a simple tube filled with ink, changes in temperature and pressure could push ink out, especially on airplanes or in a really hot car. So many refills have a buffer in the back, like a small air pocket, a flexible plug, or a grease-like seal behind the ink. That back section absorbs expansion and pressure changes, so the ink doesn't get squeezed out through the tip. So the pen isn't just holding ink. It's controlling ink. Now what about drying out? Why doesn't the tip dry up instantly? Because the ball helps seal the opening and limits how much air can get in. Less air exposure means the ink dries much more slowly. But if the ball gets damaged or tiny dust gets into the socket, that seal gets worse, and that's when you get skipping, blobs, or the occasional leak. So if a ballpoint pen leaks, it's usually for a pretty normal reason. It got extremely hot and pressure pushed ink forward. Or the ball and socket got worn out. Or the ink got messed up, so it stops behaving like thick paste. But when everything is working properly, it's honestly a brilliant little system. A tiny steel ball works like a roller, a pump, and a seal. The thick ink resists flowing on its own. And the back of the refill handle's pressure changes. That's how a pen can live in your pocket, bounce around your bag, and still write instantly when you need it, without turning your day into an ink stain. So, next time you click a ballpoint pen, just remember, you're holding a tiny piece of everyday engineering that's been perfected to do one simple job really well. If you enjoyed this and learned something new, I'd really appreciate it if you hit like and subscribe. It genuinely means a lot to me and to the channel, and it helps the smart side reach more curious people like you.